In the heart of the bustling city, where towering skyscrapers cast long shadows over narrow alleyways, lived a boy named Sam. His home was not a house, but a patchwork of cardboard and tattered blankets tucked away behind a forgotten building. Every day, Sam wandered the streets, a silent observer of the world that hurried past him. Despite his ragged clothes and empty stomach, his eyes held a spark of resilience, a glimmer of hope that refused to be extinguished. One crisp autumn afternoon, as the leaves danced in the breeze, Sam found himself in the city park, a sanctuary amidst the concrete jungle. Here, the laughter of children, the chatter of friends, and the distant hum of traffic created a symphony that comforted his weary soul. It was in this park that Sam's life was about to change forever. As he sat on a bench, lost in thought, a flurry of movement caught his attention. A small, elegant dog, its coat gleaming like polished silver, darted through the park, its leash trailing behind it. The dog was clearly distressed, weaving through the throngs of people, narrowly avoiding danger at every turn. Without a second thought, Sam leapt to his feet, his heart pounding with a sense of urgency. He followed the dog, his legs propelling him faster than they ever had before. The world around him blurred as he focused solely on the animal's frantic path. Finally, in a dramatic leap, Sam managed to catch the leash just as the dog was about to dart into a busy street. He pulled the dog close, whispering soothing words to calm its trembling form. At that moment, a well-dressed man appeared, his face etched with worry and relief. This was Mr. Bennet, a wealthy businessman known for his stern demeanor and opulent lifestyle. Seeing his beloved pet safe in the arms of this ragged boy, his expression softened. As he approached, the stark contrast between their worlds became evident. The man of wealth and power, and the boy of the streets, bound together by an act of pure compassion. Mr. Bennet, breathless with relief, approached Sam and the dog, his usual air of aloofness momentarily replaced by gratitude. "Thank you, young man," he said, his voice a mix of exhaustion and appreciation. "You saved Max. I don't know what I would have done if something happened to him." Sam, still holding the trembling dog, looked up at Mr. Bennet, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and uncertainty. "It was nothing, sir," he mumbled, his voice barely audible. "I just couldn't let him get hurt." Mr. Bennet knelt down to Sam's level, reaching out to take Max from his arms. "You did more than just help, son," he said, his gaze softening as he studied the boy's worn features. "You showed a kind of bravery and selflessness that is rare these days." As Mr. Bennet stood, he looked around, realizing the disparity in their circumstances. The park, with its well-manicured lawns and beautiful trees, was a stark contrast to the harsh reality of Sam's life. He could see the fatigue and hunger etched into the boy's face, and it stirred something within him. A sense of duty, perhaps, or a long-forgotten empathy. "What's your name?" Mr. Bennet asked, his tone gentler now. "Sam," the boy replied, standing awkwardly as he held the leash out to Mr. Bennet. "Sam, I want to thank you properly for what you've done," Mr. Bennet said, taking the leash. "But first, let's get you something to eat. You look like you could use a good meal." Sam hesitated, unsure whether to trust this sudden turn of fortune. He had learned to be wary of promises, often broken and fleeting, but the sincerity in Mr. Bennet's eyes gave him a sliver of hope, a chance to believe in kindness once more. "Come with me," Mr. Bennet continued, sensing Sam's hesitation.
"I promisa, no tricks."
"Just a warm meal and a chance to talk." With a slight nod, Sam agreed, his stomach rumbling in agreement. Together they walked out of the park, Max trotting happily beside them, oblivious to the remarkable chain of events that his little adventure had set into motion. As they left the park, the first rays of the setting sun bathed them in a golden light, hinting at the unexpected bond forming between the wealthy man and the homeless boy. Mr. Bennet and Sam walked together through the bustling city streets, the golden light of the setting sun casting long shadows. Sam's heart pounded in his chest, torn between hope and skepticism. He had learned the hard way that the world was often unkind to those without means. Yet, Mr. Bennet's warm presence and the gratitude in his eyes made Sam want to trust, to believe in the goodness of others. They arrived at an upscale cafe, its warm glow spilling out onto the sidewalk. As they entered, the aroma of fresh bread and rich coffee enveloped them, making Sam's stomach growl even louder. Mr. Bennet led him to a cozy corner booth and gestured for him to sit. "Order anything you like, Sam," Mr. Bennet said, handing him a menu. "It's on me." Sam's eyes widened at the array of choices. It had been so long since he had seen such abundance. With trembling fingers, he pointed to a hearty meal of roast chicken, mashed potatoes, and vegetables. Mr. Bennet smiled and placed the order with the waiter, adding a hot chocolate for Sam. As they waited for the food, Mr. Bennet began to ask Sam about his life. The boy was hesitant at first, but something about Mr. Bennet's genuine interest made him open up. He spoke of the streets, of cold nights and the constant search for food, of the friends he had lost and the small joys he clung to. Mr. Bennet listened intently, his heart aching with every word. He had lived a life of privilege, insulated from the harsh realities that Sam described. Yet, he felt a growing connection to the boy, a sense of responsibility that went beyond the gratitude for saving his dog. "Sam," Mr. Bennet said softly, "I can't begin to understand everything you've been through, but I want to help. I don't think anyone should have to face what you have alone." Sam looked up, his eyes brimming with cautious hope. "Why would you want to help me?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Mr. Bennet reached across the table, placing a hand on Sam's shoulder. "Because sometimes, fate brings people together for a reason. You saved Max, and now I want to help save you." Their food arrived, and they ate in comfortable silence, the bond between them growing stronger with each bite. For the first time in a long while, Sam felt safe, cared for, and as Mr. Bennet watched the boy eat, he knew that this meeting was only the beginning of a journey that would change both of their lives forever. As the meal progressed, Mr. Bennet and Sam continued their conversation, delving deeper into the boy's past and dreams. Sam spoke of his passion for drawing, how he used to sketch the cityscape from his spot in the park, using scraps of paper and a stub of a pencil he had found. Mr. Bennet listened, captivated by the resilience and talent of the young boy before him. "Do you have any of your drawings with you?" Mr. Bennet asked, his eyes alight with curiosity. Sam nodded, reaching into his worn backpack and pulling out a few crumpled sheets. He handed them to Mr. Bennet with a mix of pride and apprehension. Mr. Bennet carefully unfolded the papers, his eyes widening in admiration as he took in the intricate details and the raw emotion captured in Sam's sketches. "These are incredible, Sam," Mr. Bennet said, his voice filled with genuine awe. "You have a real gift." A shy smile spread across Sam's face. "Thank you," he murmured, his cheeks flushing with a mix of embarrassment and pride. Mr. Bennet's mind raced with possibilities. He knew that talent like Sam's deserved recognition and opportunity. "Sam, have you ever considered going to art school?" he asked, leaning forward with excitement. Sam's eyes widened in disbelief. "Art school? Me? I never thought it could be possible," he said, his voice tinged with both longing and doubt. "Why not? You have the talent, and I believe in you," Mr. Bennet replied firmly. Let me help you. There's a wonderful art school nearby. I can arrange for you to meet with the head of the program. If they see your work, I'm sure they'll be as impressed as I am." Tears welled up in Sam's eyes as he struggled to comprehend the magnitude of Mr. Bennet's offer. "You really think they would accept me?" he whispered, his voice trembling with hope. "I have no doubt," Mr. Bennet said, smiling warmly. "Let's make this happen, Sam. You deserve a chance to follow your dreams." Overwhelmed with gratitude, Sam could hardly find the words to express his feelings. "Thank you, Mr. Bennet. I don't know how to repay you." Mr. Bennet shook his head gently. "You don't need to repay me, Sam. Just promise me that you'll keep believing in yourself and your talent. That's all the reward I need." As they finished their meal, a sense of purpose and determination settled over Sam. For the first time in years, he felt a glimmer of hope for the future. With Mr. Bennet by his side, he knew that anything was possible. They left the cafe, stepping out into the cool night air. Mr. Bennet hailed a cab and gave the driver an address. As they rode through the city, Sam couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. He didn't know what the future held, but with Mr. Bennet's support, he was ready to face whatever challenges came his way. The cab pulled up in front of a modest but charming apartment building. Mr. Bennet turned to Sam with a reassuring smile. "This is my home, Sam. I have a spare room that you can use for as long as you need. Let's get you settled in, and tomorrow we'll start working on getting you into art school." Tears of gratitude streamed down Sam's face as he stepped out of the cab. He couldn't believe how much his life had changed in just a few hours. With Mr. Bennet's kindness and support, he felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. He knew that he was no longer alone, and that together they could overcome any obstacle. As they walked up the steps to Mr. Bennet's apartment, Sam felt a warmth in his heart that he hadn't felt in years. He knew that this was the beginning of a new chapter in his life, one filled with possibilities and the promise of a brighter future. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window, casting a golden glow over the room where Sam slept. He woke up in a cozy bed, surrounded by the warmth and comfort he had long forgotten. For a moment, he lay there, savoring the unfamiliar feeling of safety and security. He couldn't remember the last time he had slept so peacefully. Downstairs, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and sizzling bacon wafted through the air, drawing Sam out of his reverie. He got up and dressed quickly, making his way to the kitchen. There, Mr. Bennet stood by the stove, flipping pancakes with a practiced ease. "Good morning, Sam," Mr. Bennet greeted him with a smile. "I hope you slept well." "I did, Mr. Bennet." "Thank you," Sam replied, still adjusting to this new reality. "It feels like a dream." Mr. Bennet chuckled. "Well, this is just the beginning. We have a big day ahead. After breakfast, we'll head over to the art school to meet the head of the program." Sam's heart fluttered with a mix of excitement and nerves. "Do you really think they'll like my work?" Mr. Bennet placed a reassuring hand on Sam's shoulder. "I know they will, Sam. Your talent speaks for itself. Just be yourself and let your art do the talking." As they enjoyed a hearty breakfast, Sam couldn't help but feel a growing sense of anticipation. He had spent so long dreaming of a better life, and now, thanks to Mr. Bennet's kindness, those dreams were starting to take shape. After breakfast, they gathered Sam's sketches and headed out. The city bustled with activity, but Sam felt a newfound sense of purpose and direction. They arrived at the prestigious art school, its grand facade towering above them. Sam took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. Inside, they were greeted by Ms. Collins, the head of the art program. She was an elegant woman with a keen eye for talent. Mr. Bennet introduced Sam, explaining his remarkable journey and his incredible artistic skills. Ms. Collins examined Sam's sketches with a critical yet appreciative eye. She could see the raw talent and the depth of emotion in each stroke. "These are exceptional, Sam," she said, her voice filled with genuine admiration. "I would love to see more of your work." Sam's heart soared at her words. "Thank you, Ms. Collins. I have more sketches at home, and I would be honored to share them with you." Ms. Collins smiled warmly. "I believe you have a bright future ahead of you, Sam. Our school would be lucky to have you as a student." Tears of gratitude welled up in Sam's eyes. "I don't know how to thank you," he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. Ms. Collins shook her head gently. "Just continue to pour your heart into your art, Sam. That's all the thanks I need." As they left the art school, Sam felt a sense of accomplishment and hope he had never experienced before. He turned to Mr. Bennet, his eyes shining with gratitude. "I can't believe this is happening. Thank you, Mr. Bennet. You've changed my life." Mr. Bennet smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "It's your talent and determination that brought you here, Sam. I'm just glad I could help." They spent the rest of the day exploring the city, visiting art galleries and soaking in the beauty that surrounded them. For the first time in a long time, Sam felt like he belonged. He knew that with Mr. Bennet's support and his own hard work, he could achieve anything. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the city, they returned to Mr. Bennet's apartment. Sam felt a deep sense of contentment and purpose. He knew that this was just the beginning of his journey, and he was ready to embrace whatever challenges and opportunities lay ahead. As evening settled in, Sam and Mr. Bennet sat on the balcony, overlooking the city lights twinkling like a sea of stars. The air was cool and crisp, filled with the distant hum of city life. Sam held a sketchbook on his lap, his fingers tracing over the pages filled with his drawings. He looked up at Mr. Bennet, feeling a mix of gratitude and uncertainty. "Mr. Bennet," Sam began, his voice soft, "I've been thinking, why did you help me? I mean, there are so many people in need. Why me?" Mr. Bennet turned to Sam, his eyes reflecting the warm glow of the streetlights below. "Sam, sometimes life gives us unexpected opportunities to make a difference. When I saw you that day, saving my dog, I saw more than just a brave young boy. I saw potential, kindness, and a spark that deserved a chance to shine." Sam listened, his heart swelling with emotion. I don't know how to repay you for all this. You've given me so much." Mr. Bennet smiled, a gentle, reassuring smile. "You don't have to repay me, Sam. Seeing you thrive, watching you embrace your talent and grow, that's all the reward I need. But if you really want to show your gratitude, then promise me this: never give up on your dreams, no matter how tough things get." Sam nodded, his resolve strengthening. "I promise, Mr. Bennet. I'll work hard and make the most of this opportunity." They sat in companionable silence for a while, the city a constant yet distant presence. Then Mr. Bennet stood up, stretching his arms. "Come on, Sam. I have something to show you." Curiosity piqued, Sam followed Mr. Bennet inside. They walked through the elegantly furnished apartment, the walls adorned with artwork that now held a new meaning for Sam. They stopped in front of a closed door, and Mr. Bennet turned to Sam with a twinkle in his eye. "This room used to belong to my son," he said quietly. He was an artist too, before he passed away. I think it's time someone with a similar passion uses it." Mr. Bennet opened the door to reveal a small art studio. The room was filled with canvases, easels, and an array of art supplies. Sunlight from a large window bathed the space in a golden hue, making it feel almost sacred. Sam stepped inside, his breath catching in his throat. "Mr. Bennet, this is incredible," Sam said, his voice filled with awe. "It's yours now, Sam," Mr. Bennet said. "Create your art here. Let this be a sanctuary for your creativity. My son would have wanted it this way." Overwhelmed, Sam turned to Mr. Bennet, tears glistening in his eyes. "I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you so much." Mr. Bennet placed a hand on Sam's shoulder. "You're welcome, Sam. Now, let's see what masterpieces you'll create in this space." Sam spent the next few hours exploring the studio, running his fingers over the art supplies, feeling the texture of the canvases. He could sense the presence of Mr. Bennet's son in the room, as if the walls themselves whispered encouragement and inspiration. As the night grew deeper, Sam sat down at an easel, picking up a pencil. He began to sketch, losing himself in the flow of creativity. Every stroke felt like a tribute to the kindness he had received, a testament to the potential Mr. Bennet saw in him. In that quiet, intimate space, surrounded by the legacy of an artist gone too soon, Sam found a new sense of purpose. He was not just creating art. He was weaving a story of resilience, hope, and the transformative power of compassion. And in that moment, he knew that this was only the beginning of a beautiful journey. As days turned into weeks, Sam's life began to transform in ways he had never imagined. Every morning, he woke up with a renewed sense of purpose, eager to spend his days in the art studio Mr. Bennet had gifted him. The room, once filled with the quiet memories of a lost son, now buzzed with the vibrant energy of Sam's creativity. The canvases that had lain dormant now blossomed with color and life, each stroke of Sam's brush telling a story of hope, gratitude, and rebirth. Mr. Bennet often joined Sam in the studio, offering gentle guidance and sharing stories of his son. They would sit together, sometimes in silence, sometimes in deep conversation, as the hours slipped by. Their bond grew stronger, rooted in a mutual respect and a shared love for art. One day, while working on a particularly challenging piece, Sam paused, his eyes distant. "Mr. Bennet, do you ever think about what your son would have painted if he was still here?" Mr. Bennet looked at the canvas, then at Sam. "Every day," he said softly. "But seeing you here, creating with such passion, I feel like a part of him lives on through you. It's as if his dream and your dream have intertwined, creating something even more beautiful." Sam nodded, feeling the weight of Mr. Bennet's words. He turned back to his painting, his heart full. The piece he was working on was different from anything he had ever done before. It was a portrait of Mr. Bennet's son, imagined through the stories and memories Mr. Bennet had shared. Every brushstroke was a tribute, a way to honor the young artist who had once filled this room with his own dreams. As the portrait neared completion, Sam felt a sense of peace. He had poured his soul into this piece, and it showed. The eyes of the young man in the painting sparkled with life, his expression one of quiet determination and joy. When Sam finally revealed the portrait to Mr. Bennet, the older man was silent for a long moment. Tears welled up in his eyes as he reached out to touch the canvas, his fingers trembling. "It's perfect," he whispered. "You captured his spirit perfectly." Sam's heart swelled with pride and emotion. "I wanted to honor him, to thank him for this incredible gift, and to thank you, Mr. Bennet, for believing in me." Mr. Bennet pulled Sam into a tight embrace. "Thank you, Sam. You've given me a priceless gift. You've brought my son back to life in the most beautiful way." From that day forward, the portrait hung in the studio, a symbol of the bond between Sam, Mr. Bennet, and the young artist whose legacy had inspired them both. Sam continued to create, each new piece infused with the love and gratitude he felt for the life he had been given. One evening, as they sat together watching the sunset from the balcony, Mr. Bennet turned to Sam with a thoughtful expression. "Sam, I've been thinking, how would you feel about sharing your art with the world? Holding an exhibition to showcase your work?" Sam's eyes widened in surprise. "An exhibition? Do you really think people would be interested in my art?" "I know they would," Mr. Bennet said with conviction. "Your art has a story to tell, a story of resilience, hope, and transformation. It's a story that needs to be shared." Sam took a deep breath, excitement and nerves bubbling within him. "Let's do it. Let's show the world what we can create." With Mr. Bennet's support and guidance, they began planning the exhibition. Invitations were sent out, and preparations were made. Sam worked tirelessly, creating new pieces and perfecting old ones, pouring his heart and soul into every canvas. As the day of the exhibition approached, Sam felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. He had come so far from the homeless boy who had saved a dog, and now he was about to share his journey with the world. It was a daunting prospect, but he knew he was ready. On the night of the exhibition, the gallery was filled with people. Friends, art lovers, and curious onlookers mingled, their eyes drawn to the vibrant, emotive pieces that adorned the walls. Sam stood nervously at the entrance, Mr. Bennet by his side, as the first guests began to arrive. As they walked through the gallery, admiring Sam's work, the room buzzed with admiration and awe. Each piece told a part of Sam's story, from the streets to the studio, from despair to hope. It was a powerful testament to the transformative power of kindness and the enduring strength of the human spirit. As the night progressed, the gallery filled with a warm hum of admiration and conversation. Sam wandered through the crowd, listening to the praises and questions from the guests. Each comment filled him with a sense of validation and pride, but also a profound gratitude for the journey that had brought him here. He paused in front of the portrait of Mr. Bennet's son, now a centerpiece of the exhibition. A group of people had gathered around it, their expressions a mix of awe and curiosity. Sam overheard snippets of their conversation, words like beautiful, heartfelt, and masterpiece floating through the air. A woman approached Sam, her eyes glistening with tears. "This portrait, it's incredible. There's so much emotion in it. Who is it?"
Sam smiled gently.
"That's Mr. Bennet's son. He was an artist too, and his spirit inspired me to create this." The woman placed a hand on her heart. "You can feel the love and respect in every brushstroke. It's truly moving." Sam thanked her, feeling a swell of emotion. As he moved away, he noticed Mr. Bennet standing off to the side, watching the scene unfold with a proud, teary smile. Their eyes met, and Mr. Bennet gave a small nod, a silent acknowledgement of their shared journey. Suddenly, a familiar bark echoed through the gallery. Sam turned to see Bella, Mr. Bennet's golden retriever, trotting in with a wagging tail. The crowd parted to let her through, laughter and exclamations of delight following in her wake. Bella bounded up to Sam, her eyes bright with recognition.
"Bella!"
"What are you doing here, girl?" Sam knelt down to greet her, rubbing her ears affectionately. Mr. Bennet approached, chuckling. She must have sensed that something special was happening tonight. She just had to be here to see it. Sam laughed, feeling a warm glow spread through him. Well, she did play a big part in all of this. The guests gathered around, charmed by Bella's presence. It was as if the dog had brought an added layer of joy and warmth to the evening. Sam stood up, addressing the crowd with a heartfelt smile. Thank you all for being here tonight. This exhibition is more than just a display of art. It's a testament to the power of kindness and second chances. Bella here was the beginning of my journey, and Mr. Bennet gave me the opportunity to pursue my dreams. I'm grateful for every moment and for all of you who have come to share this with us. The room erupted in applause, the sound resonating with the joy and gratitude that filled the space. As the evening wore on, Sam felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. He had come so far, not just in his art, but in his understanding of what truly mattered in life. Later, as the guests began to leave, one by one, Sam found a quiet moment to reflect. Standing beside Mr. Bennet and Bella, he looked around the gallery, taking in the culmination of his journey. It was more than he had ever dared to dream. Mr. Bennet placed a hand on Sam's shoulder. You've done something extraordinary tonight, Sam. Your art, your story, it has touched so many hearts. Sam nodded, his eyes misty with emotion. I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Bennet. Thank you for everything. Mr. Bennet smiled, pulling Sam into a warm embrace. The honor is mine, Sam. You've brought new life and joy into my world. Let's continue to create, to inspire, and to cherish every moment. As they stood together, the bond between them stronger than ever, Sam knew that this was just the beginning. With love, support, and a heart full of gratitude, he was ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that he would never walk alone again. In the quiet aftermath of the gallery's closing, Sam and Mr. Bennet found themselves alone in the hushed stillness, the artwork softly illuminated by the dimmed lights. Bella, content and calm, lay at their feet, her presence a soothing reminder of the journey they had shared. Mr. Bennet broke the silence first, his voice gentle. Sam, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. He paused, searching for the right words. Your kindness and talent have not only brought joy to my life, but have also inspired me to reconnect with my own passion for art. Sam looked at him with a mix of surprise and curiosity. Mr. Bennet, I didn't know you were an artist too. Mr. Bennet nodded, his eyes reflecting memories of a time long past. I used to paint, many years ago, but life took its turns, and I put my brushes aside. Watching you rediscover your talent reignited a spark in me, one I thought had long been extinguished. Sam felt a deep sense of connection, understanding now that their bond went beyond the circumstances that had initially brought them together. I'd love to see your work, Mr. Bennet. Maybe we can even paint together sometime. A smile spread across Mr. Bennet's face, a mixture of nostalgia and hope. I would like that very much, Sam. Just then, the gallery door creaked open, and a familiar figure stepped inside. It was Claire, Sam's sister, her face beaming with pride and joy. She walked over, her steps light and purposeful. Sam, tonight was incredible. I'm so proud of you, she said, enveloping him in a warm hug. Sam hugged her back, feeling the comfort and support of his family. Thank you, Claire. It means a lot to have you here. Claire pulled back, her eyes shining. There's someone else who wanted to be here tonight. She stepped aside, and their mother walked in, her eyes filled with tears of pride. Sam's heart swelled with emotion as he rushed to embrace her. Mom, you made it, he said, his voice choked with emotion. His mother held him tight, her voice trembling. I wouldn't have missed this for the world, Sam. You've made us all so proud." The three of them stood together, a family reunited by the power of love and perseverance. Mr. Bennet watched, his heart full, knowing that this was the true reward of their journey. As the night drew to a close, Sam, Mr. Bennet, Claire, and their mother sat together, sharing stories and dreams for the future. The gallery, now quiet and serene, seemed to hold the echoes of their laughter and the promise of new beginnings. In that moment, Sam realized that the true masterpiece was not just the art that adorned the walls, but the tapestry of love, support, and connection that had woven their lives together. And as they planned their next steps, he knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, with hearts full of hope and hands ready to create beauty in the world. The future was bright, and Sam felt a deep sense of gratitude for every twist and turn that had led him to this point. With his family by his side and Mr. Bennet's unwavering support, he was ready to embrace the next chapter of his life, knowing that the best was yet to come. In the warmth of their reunion, the conversation flowed effortlessly, each word a brushstroke painting a picture of shared dreams and renewed connections. The gallery's ambience, now filled with the soft glow of twilight, seemed to cradle them in its embrace, echoing the harmony of their togetherness. Mr. Bennet, sensing a moment of quiet introspection, gently placed a hand on Sam's shoulder. "Sam, there's something else I'd like to offer you," he began, his voice carrying the weight of sincerity. "I have a cabin by the lake, a place I used to retreat to when I needed inspiration. It's been untouched for years, but I'd like you to have it. A sanctuary where you can create freely, without the world's interruptions." Sam's eyes widened with gratitude and surprise. "Mr. Bennet, I don't know what to say. That's incredibly generous of you." Mr. Bennet smiled warmly. "You deserve it, Sam. You've reminded me of the joy that comes from giving and sharing. Consider it a gift to nurture your talent and spirit." As the offer sank in, Claire and their mother exchanged glances of astonishment and joy. Claire spoke up, her voice brimming with excitement. "Sam, this could be the perfect place for you to work on your next exhibition. Imagine the tranquility and inspiration you'll find there." Their mother nodded in agreement, her eyes shining with pride. "It's a wonderful opportunity, Sam. A chance to explore your creativity in a place that holds so much potential." Sam, overwhelmed by the support and generosity surrounding him, felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. "Thank you, Mr. Bennet. This means more to me than I can express." The evening continued with stories and laughter, the bonds between them growing ever stronger. As they prepared to leave the gallery, Mr. Bennet handed Sam a small key, a symbol of the new chapter about to unfold. "Use it well, Sam, and remember, the door is always open for you, just as your heart has been for those around you." With the key clutched tightly in his hand, Sam felt a surge of anticipation and hope. He knew that the cabin by the lake would be a haven for his artistic journey, a place where he could immerse himself in his passion and discover new depths of creativity. As they stepped out into the cool night air, the stars above seemed to twinkle with promise. The city lights in the distance flickered like 1,000 dreams waiting to be realized. Sam, flanked by his family and newfound mentor, felt a profound sense of belonging and purpose. Walking down the quiet streets, they spoke of the future, of plans and possibilities, each step a testament to the power of love and resilience. Sam knew that with his family by his side and Mr. Bennet's unwavering support, he could face any challenge that came his way. The night was alive with the whispers of dreams, and as they parted ways, Sam felt a renewed sense of determination. The journey ahead was bound to be filled with twists and turns, but with his heart open and his spirit unyielding, he was ready to embrace it all. In that moment, He realized that the true masterpiece of his life was not just the art he created, but the connections he forged and the love he nurtured. And as he looked towards the horizon, he knew that the best was yet to come. The days following their heartfelt evening at the gallery were filled with a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. Sam, with the key to the cabin nestled securely in his pocket, made plans to visit his new sanctuary. The thought of a quiet retreat where he could immerse himself in his art filled him with anticipation. One crisp morning, Sam packed his art supplies, a few personal belongings, and set off for the cabin. As he drove through the winding roads leading to the lake, he felt a sense of liberation. The trees lining the path, their leaves rustling gently in the breeze, seemed to whisper words of encouragement. Upon arriving, Sam stood before the cabin, its rustic charm and serene surroundings taking his breath away. The lake glistened under the sunlight, and the air was filled with the earthy scent of pine and fresh water. It was a perfect haven for creativity and reflection. Inside, the cabin was cozy and inviting. The walls, adorned with vintage photographs and sketches, told stories of past occupants. A large window overlooked the lake, offering a picturesque view that seemed like a living painting. Sam set up his easel by the window, feeling an immediate surge of inspiration. Days turned into weeks as Sam poured his heart into his work. Each stroke of his brush was infused with the tranquility and beauty of his surroundings. The cabin, with its quietude and charm, became a canvas in itself, a muse that breathed life into his creations. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the lake, Sam sat on the porch, sketchbook in hand. He thought about Mr. Bennett's kindness, his family's unwavering support, and the journey that had brought him here. The events of the past months had transformed him, instilling a deep sense of gratitude and purpose. Lost in thought, Sam began to sketch the scene before him. The reflection of the setting sun on the water, the silhouettes of the trees, and the gentle ripples on the lake's surface. It was a moment of pure peace and clarity, where the world seemed to stand still. As he sketched, Sam felt a presence beside him. Looking up, he saw Claire and their mother, smiling warmly. They had decided to visit him, bringing with them the warmth of home and the joy of family. "We wanted to see how you're doing," Claire said, her eyes shining with pride as she glanced at his sketches. Their mother nodded, her voice filled with love. "And to let you know how proud we are of you, Sam. Your art, your resilience, everything." Sam smiled, his heart swelling with emotion. "I'm so glad you're here. This place, it feels like home, and having you both here makes it perfect." They spent the evening together, sharing stories and laughter, the bond between them growing ever stronger. The cabin, once a solitary retreat, was now filled with the warmth and love of family. As night fell, they sat by the fireplace, the crackling flames casting a soft glow around the room. Sam spoke of his plans for his upcoming exhibition, the new ideas he had, and the dreams he wanted to pursue. "None of this would have been possible without you," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "Your support means everything to me." Claire and their mother exchanged a knowing look, their hearts full. "We believe in you, Sam," his mother said softly, "and we always will." That night, as Sam lay in bed, the cabin enveloped in a peaceful silence, he felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey had been long and challenging, but it had led him to this moment of contentment and clarity. He knew that with his family's love and the inspiration from his surroundings, he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The cabin by the lake had become a symbol of new beginnings, a place where dreams took flight and possibilities were endless. Months passed, and the preparations for Sam's art exhibition were in full swing. His days at the cabin had borne fruit, each painting and sketch capturing the essence of his journey, the serenity of the lake, and the profound connections he had rediscovered. The anticipation for the exhibition built steadily, and the gallery buzzed with excitement as the opening night drew near. On the evening of the exhibition, the gallery was a kaleidoscope of lights and murmurs. Guests from all walks of life, including artists, critics, and admirers, filled the space. The air was thick with the scent of fresh flowers and the hum of eager conversations. Sam stood at the entrance, his heart pounding with a mix of nerves and exhilaration. As he stepped inside, the sight before him took his breath away. His artwork adorned the walls, each piece illuminated to perfection. The reflections of the lake, the golden hues of sunsets, and the delicate details of nature. Each painting told a story of hope, resilience, and beauty. Claire and their mother were the first to greet him, their faces glowing with pride. "You did it, Sam," Claire said, hugging him tightly. "This is incredible." Their mother nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "You have created something truly special, my son." Soon, the gallery began to fill with familiar faces. Mr. Bennet, who had played such a pivotal role in Sam's journey, smiled warmly as he approached. "Your work is magnificent, Sam. You have a rare gift." Sam's heart swelled with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Bennet. Your belief in me made this possible." As the evening progressed, guests moved from one painting to another, their expressions ranging from awe to contemplation. Sam watched as they connected with his art, seeing reflections of their own lives and emotions in his work. A hush fell over the room as the gallery owner took the stage to introduce the artist. "Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the extraordinary talent behind these masterpieces, Sam Thompson." The applause was thunderous as Sam stepped forward, his nerves giving way to a deep sense of accomplishment. He took a moment to soak in the faces before him, each one a testament to the impact of his journey. "Thank you all for being here tonight," Sam began, his voice steady and heartfelt. "These paintings are more than just images. They are pieces of my soul, reflections of the path that has brought me here. I am deeply grateful to my family, friends, and everyone who has supported me along the way." He paused, his eyes meeting those of his mother and Claire. "This journey has taught me the importance of love, resilience, and the power of belief. Each stroke of my brush carries the hope that we can find beauty and meaning in our lives, no matter the challenges we face." As he concluded his speech, the room erupted in applause once more. Sam felt a sense of closure and a new beginning all at once. He stepped down, surrounded by well-wishers and admirers, each word of praise and encouragement reinforcing his purpose. Later that night, as the gallery began to empty, Sam found himself standing before his favorite painting, a serene depiction of the lake at sunset. Claire joined him, a knowing smile on her face. "It's beautiful, Sam," she said softly. "Just like your journey." Sam nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "It's been a long road, but standing here tonight, I know it was all worth it." Their mother approached, wrapping an arm around each of her children. "You've made us so proud, Sam, and I know this is just the beginning of many more beautiful chapters in your life." Together, they stood in silence, the warmth of their bond enveloping them. The journey had been marked by trials and triumphs, but it had led them to this moment of unity and fulfillment. As the lights dimmed and the gallery doors closed, Sam felt a deep sense of peace. His art had found its voice, and through it, he had found his true self. The future stretched out before him, filled with endless possibilities and the unwavering support of those he loved. In that quiet, intimate moment, Sam knew that no matter where life took him, He was ready to embrace it with open arms and a heart full of gratitude. The journey was far from over, and he was eager to see where it would lead next.